Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about the Supreme Court's caution telling the Enforcement Directorate not to cross the limits. So it is all about the Supreme Court cautioning the Enforcement Directorate about crossing the limits. An important editorial in the sense there are a lot of words you can learn, that is one thing. And grammar point of view also it is important. But do remember here, don't try to judge the editorial. Don't try to take a personal stand. I do the analysis from proficiency point of view. You also look at the editorial from the same angle. Don't try to pass judgments. And today you're going to work on when it comes to practice questions based on the exam topics. You're going to work on spot the errors, a bit challenging in my opinion. I don't know how you guys are going to handle. And you're going to work on para jumble, cloze test, and also word profile. Let us, before we go to the editorial analysis vocabulary, I told yesterday also, I'm launching a new course, online course, and it is live and interactive classes. I will come up with a video today with all the details regarding the time slot, the duration, the syllabus, all these aspects. Please wait for the video. Now let us go to the editorial vocabulary. As I said, a lot of words are there to learn and a lot of new words in fact. What is the first one here? Exhortation. We have never got this word. Exhortation. We have got for the first time. And I have been telling, whenever you come across a new word and unfamiliar word, a bit difficult word, after the session, try to spend some time and try to revise on and off and make your own sentences. Only then you will be able to remember. So exhortation, obviously, it is a noun. The act of strongly encouraging or trying to persuade someone to do something. It is an act. What kind of an act is it? The act of strongly encouraging. More than encouraging in this context, or trying to persuade someone to do something. The Supreme Court trying to persuade the Enforcement Directorate based on the context. Temper could be a noun, could be a verb. And short-tempered person, a typical expression, temper as a noun to become angry very soon, within no time. But here it has been used as a verb. As a verb, it means one meaning as a noun, the tendency to become angry very quickly. As a verb, the first one goes with the meaning as a noun, and here the second one, to make something less strong. As a verb, it means to make something less strong. And this meaning goes with the editorial. Zeal. Here, part of speech noun, great enthusiasm or eagerness. You should have the zeal to learn something. Means what? The enthusiasm to learn something or the eagerness to learn something. In fact, regular classes I tell students enthusiasm. It goes with effective English and also zeal goes with effective English, but a simple word interest. And when you ask the question, who is the best teacher in the world? The answer is interest. Interest is the best teacher. When you're interested in something, you don't need a teacher. That interest will become the best teacher and you will learn a lot. Do remember that is very important. Allegation, accusation, related words, and a noun. Allegations, plural form. A statement made without giving proof that someone has done something wrong or illegal. You say someone has done something wrong, but there is no evidence or proof. Then we use the term allegation or accusation. Accuse goes more with everyday English, and allegation goes with effective English. Transgress, an important word. I will underline the important words. Exhortation, an important word. Transgress, an important word. Part of speech verb, it is a regular verb. To break a law or moral rule. In this context, to break a law. Either a law or a moral rule. Harass also goes with everyday English. A typical combination, police harassment. It's a typical combination. Harassment noun form, harass verb. Today I may spend a lot of time on the words because so many words are there. To continue to annoy or upset. More than annoy, Upset someone over a period of time. You try to pester, you try to bother, you try to irritate or upset someone over a period of time, for a long time. Then we use the word harass. I'm not able to bear the harassment, a typical expression. And money laundering, I'm sure you guys know, part of speech noun, it's a compound noun. The crime of moving money that has been obtained illegally through banks and other businesses to make it seem as if the money has been obtained legally. You get money illegally and you try to pass it through banks and you try to make it look like money you got legally. That's what we call money laundering. Today, money laundering, it has been in the limelight. Quite often, if you read the newspapers, you come across this money laundering cases. Scandal, again, if you read the newspapers, quite often, very unfortunate, but still, you come across words like scam, scandal. Scandal, part of speech noun. An action or event that causes a public feeling of shock and strong moral disapproval. Scandal, something that is negative, it has a negative connotation. Expansive, we have got a few times. It has got two or three meanings, but here, part of speech adjective, covering a large area, covering a large area, and in this context goes with probing or investigation. Pertinent, another important word in competitive exams. Certain words, they know your standards. Based on that, they pick up a few words and they try to frame questions when it comes to an exam topic like fillers or when it comes to closed test. This is an important word. A lot of candidates may not know this word, pertinent, part of speech adjective. A typical combination, pertinent statement, pertinent remark, pertinent criticism, relating directly to the subject being considered. But generally, I tell the meaning pertinent means relevant, relevant, related to a particular subject. And the typical combinations are pertinent remark, pertinent comment. That you have to learn the combinations as well. You may ask why. English is a combinational language. There are thousands of combinations. Then how do you remember thousands of combinations? Not practically possible. But when you read the editorial, when you read the newspapers, whatever combinations you come across, the same combinations they touch in the exam. That way it becomes easy for you to answer. Implicate, another important word, but I'm sure you guys know. Part of speech verb, it's a regular verb. Implicate, implicated, implicated. To show that someone is involved in a crime or partly responsible for something bad that has happened. You say someone is involved in a particular crime, then you try to implicate that person. Implicate means saying that or showing that someone is involved in a crime. Here you have to recollect one word, accomplice. Imagine someone has committed crime and someone else has helped that person. Then we use that person is called accomplice, partner in the crime. Even that is an important word. Today we have come across one or two idioms, but this is an important one. A run amok, idiom. To behave without control in a wild or dangerous manner. Usually, this goes with wild animals or domesticated animals, and you cannot control. They behave in a wild manner, run amok, an important idiom, do remember. To behave without control in a wild or dangerous manner. So, in this context, it goes with the Enforcement Directorate. Very unfortunate, but that's what it has been used. Reference is to the Enforcement Directorate. Scam also a word you come across in the newspapers quite often, which is unfortunate. Part of speech noun. An illegal plan for making money, especially one that involves tricking people. Financial scam, a typical combination. And today we come across a lot of scams. And in this context, you have to recollect one expression. In big cities, you come across some organizations resort to scams. And there's one expression called fly by night operators. Fly by night operators. So they open an office, they get money from the public, and one fine morning they disappear. And those people are called fly by night operators. And usually they resort to scams. I use this quite often, core. A core has many meanings. It can be an adjective, it can be a noun. As a noun, the basic and most important part of something. Core means the most important part, but I use as an adjective. It can be used as an adjective. There's one important expression. Tomorrow, if you get the job, or someone who works in the private sector, he or she comes across an expression, core competency. Competency means skill or ability. And what is the combination here? Core competency. Core competency means your actual strength. And we should always focus on our core competency, an important one. That's right. Adversary noun. Today, word of the day is adverse. So, adversary noun, a person. Adversary means what? Enemy. Related adverse. Adverse adjective. Having a negative or harmful effect on something. Affect, effect. Affect is a verb. Effect can be a verb, can be a noun, but usually used as a noun, that you have to recollect. So, adverse report, adverse publicity, adverse comment, negative or harmful. It has a negative connotation. Witch hunt. Today, if you read the newspapers, you come across this. It goes with the field of polity. Witch hunt, part of speech noun. I'm sure you all know the word witch. So when we talk about religion, religion is positive, but it has a negative side. And when it comes to the negative side, we use words like black magic, sorcery, witch, all these. So black magic, sorcery, and witches, witch hunt, they all go with part of religion, but not the positive dimension, the negative dimension. So what does it mean, witch hunt? An attempt to find and punish people whose opinions are unpopular and who are said to be a danger to the society. You consider someone's views unpopular, or you consider someone a danger to the society, then you try to go in for witch hunt. Usually, in the present scenario, it goes with the political parties in power. Stringent, I'm sure we have got this many a time. Stringent rules, stringent part of speech adjective, having a very severe effect of being extremely limiting. But generally, we say stringent laws, stringent rules, very strict. So, these are the words from today's editorial. Let us go to the editorial. Timely caution. Something has been done at the right time. Then we say timely action, timely caution, timely reminder. These are the combinations. So, what is timely caution? On the Supreme Court's exhortation to the Enforcement Directorate. As I said, there's an important word. We have got this for the first time. What is the meaning of exhortation? The act of strongly persuading someone to do something, encouraging or trying to persuade. In this context, the Supreme Court trying to persuade the Enforcement Directorate. But you may not understand. Then you have to read the next sentence to get the main idea of the editorial. So, what is the main idea of the editorial? The top court has rightly cautioned. Again, I would like to remind you guys, whatever you see in red, vocabulary related, and whatever you see in green, grammar related. Rightly is an adverb, put it in brackets. Has cautioned, so it is present perfect active voice. The top court has rightly cautioned probe agencies, in this context, Enforcement Directorate, against crossing limits. Caution against something. In this context, cautioned probe agencies against what? Crossing limits. For everything, there are limits. So when someone crosses the limits, we try to caution. We say, don't cross the limits. So the main idea, the top court, what is the top court? The Supreme Court has rightly cautioned, that is a timely caution. Caution probe agencies. Whom did it caution? Probe agencies against what? Crossing limits. This is a main idea. Entire editorial depends on this idea. The Supreme Court's exhortation to the Enforcement Directorate, ED, not to create an atmosphere of fear indicates. Now, this you got to listen very carefully. From here to here, it is like the subject. Subject means what? It has two definitions. One definition, whenever we talk about someone or something, that someone or something is a subject. He is a student, he is a subject. The second definition, subject is a person or a thing who or which does action. A dog bit the boy yesterday. Dog did action, that is a subject. A subject can be, exam point of view, this is important, that's why I'm spending a few minutes. Exam point of view, why is it important? Subject can be one word. It can be a phrase. It can be a clause. One word, not a big deal, easy to handle. But subject, when it is a phrase or a clause, then students may find it difficult to handle. Here, the Supreme Court's exhortation, this is actual noun phrase, to the Enforcement Directorate, another phrase, not to create an atmosphere of fear, all these in the position of the subject indicates. To substitute, you can use the word something. Something indicates. What indicates? All these words. Indicates what? How much the agency needs to temper its zeal. Needs to. Here it is in present tense. And the agency, third person singular. So we should add s or es to the verb. That you have to recollect. Indicates what? How much the agency needs to temper its zeal. There are two words. One, temper. As a noun, a different meaning. As a verb, a different meaning. As a noun, it means a tendency to become angry very quickly. Based on that, there's one expression we say, he is a short tempered guy. What does it mean, short tempered? Getting angry within no time, becoming angry within no time. Then we say short tempered person. But as a verb, it has a different meaning. What does it mean? To make something less strong. Here, temper means control. Control what? The agency needs to control its zeal. Zeal sometimes has a negative connotation, but usually it has a positive connotation. What does it mean, zeal? Great enthusiasm, enthusiasm to a great extent, or eagerness, interest to a great extent. Then we use the word zeal. Temper, control its zeal in what? When it comes to what? Investigating allegations against political opponents of the current regime. In investigating allegations, you say someone has done something wrong, but there's no proof or evidence, then we use the term allegation, plural allegations, against political opponents of the current regime. Regime we have got many a time, a particular government or the government in power. Right now there's a party, there's a government. For that we use the term the present or the current regime. Remember the combination as well. Responding to complaints that the ED is harassing employees. Harassing employees. Why is it in green? ED is harassing employees. It is in present continuous tense. But there's one important word here, harass. Harass means what? To continue to annoy or upset someone over a period of time. Rather than annoy, I would like to use the word upset or trouble. More than upset, trouble. Someone troubles you continuously for a long time, over a period of time. Then what do you say? He has been harassing me. And a typical combination, it is a fact. I'm sorry to say that, but it's a fact. What is a typical combination? Police harassment. Sometimes it happens, not regularly, or once in a blue moon. But there is a combination. What is that? Harassment by the police or police harassment. Harassment is a noun form. Responding to complaints that the ED is harassing employees of the excise department in Chhattisgarh in the name of investigating the money laundering aspects of an alleged liquor scandal, a bench has made the pertinent point that even a bona fide cause would seem suspect if a law enforcement agency conducted itself in a way that created fear. Look at this sentence. It is like a paragraph from there to here. Responding to complaints, it's a phrase that the ED is harassing employees of the excise department where in Chhattisgarh in the name of what? In the name of investigating the money laundering aspects. Money laundering, I'm sure you all know. You get money illegally, you try to pass it on as legal money. So money laundering aspects of it alleged means pointing out someone, telling someone has done something wrong, but there's no evidence or proof. Alleged liquor scandal. Scandal, an action or event that causes public don't like shock and strong moral disapproval. Public disapproval. A bench has made, based on all this, a bench has made the pertinent point, has made, present perfect. The pertinent point. Pertinent means relevant, related to the subject. What is that? That even a bona fide cause. Bona fide means real, genuine. Usually, when you go to a college, when you leave a college, you get the certificate, bona fide student. Means real, actual, not false. Bona fide cause would seem, expressing a personal opinion, less strong, would seem suspect, means something wrong. if a law enforcement agency conducted itself in a way that created fear. If the agency conducts itself in a way that creates fear, obviously something uh, good also looks like bad. That's what the sentence says. This is observation made by the court. The observation is both a caution against transgressing the limits of a lawful investigation. Remember, we got this both as well as a wrong combination. Both and that is a right combination that you have to recollect. The observation is what? It is in present, both a caution against transgressing the limits of a lawful investigation. Transgress means to break a law or moral rule. And one more dimension, a warning against letting a perception gain ground. Warning against something. Against what? Allowing a perception gain ground means allowing a perception become popular. What is that perception that could become popular? That the agency would go to any lengths to implicate someone. The agency would go to any lengths means it will not hesitate to do anything. It will not hesitate to go to any extent to implicate someone, to involve someone in a particular crime. So there are two dimensions. One is they have to, they should not cross the limits. They should not break the law, transgressing the limits, break a law or moral rule. That is one dimension. And the other dimension, they should not allow the perception to gain ground. What is that perception? Agency would go to any lengths to implicate someone. That is not a good thing. Given that several leaders and ministers from states ruled by parties other than the BJP, the current regime, given that several leaders and ministers from states ruled by parties other than the BJP have been summoned, it is in present perfect passive voice, by the ED or arrested and imprisoned, not many will be surprised at the charges leveled on behalf of the Chhattisgarh government that the agency is running amok and that its officers were threatening state officers in an alleged bid to implicate the state's chief minister, Bhupesh Baghel. A lengthy sentence again. But what does it say? From here to here. Look at the sentence, such a lengthy sentence. Whenever you come across a lengthy sentence, do remember one reading you may not understand. Then you have to read twice, thrice, and you have to look at the phrases, clauses, the subject, the verb, the object, and only then you will be able to understand or comprehend. Given that, the fact that several leaders and ministers from states ruled by parties other than the BJP. So, if you take the states and the union territories where BJP is not the current regime, but other parties ruled by other parties, and all the leaders and ministers have been summoned to call someone, yes, to ask someone to attend, have been summoned by the ED or they have been arrested or imprisoned. All these things, based on all these things, not many will be surprised at the charges leveled on behalf of the Chhattisgarh government against the agency. That the agency is running amok, an important idiomatic expression. Run amok means to behave without control in a wild or dangerous manner, and that its officers, agency's officers, were threatening state officers. ED is a central agency. The officers, its officers were threatening state officers in an alleged bid, means again allegation, no proof. Bid means attempt in this context. Alleged bid to implicate the state's chief minister, Bhupesh Baghel. So that means they're trying to do something, and what is objective? They want to implicate the state's chief minister. These charges, these are the charges, allegations against the agency, that is Enforcement Directorate. These charges may or may not be accurate. May or may not. May is a helping verb which has two functions. One, it is used to express permission, very polite and formal. May I come in, sir? Example. And chances are more. The second function, it is used to express a possibility where chances are more. But here it talks about the second meaning. Chances are more, possibility. These charges may or may not be accurate. Accurate means correct, precise. Usually it goes with information, accurate information. But the core problem, core, an important word, core means the basic and most important part of something. But here it has been used as an adjective. As I said, the typical combination core competency that you have to remember, core problem is that the number of political adversaries under the agency's adverse notice is unusually high. I should have brought this in green. The number of political adversaries means enemies under the agency's adverse notice. Adverse means negative. Please excuse me. No. Agency's adverse notice, negative notice is unusually high. So based on that, the core problem is what? The adverse notices, the number is unusually high. Against the political adversaries means enemies. Why I said this is important, the number. Please listen very carefully. There are two phrases, the number, a number. The number takes a singular verb. The number is going up. This has been given many a time in different competitive exams. A number takes a plural verb. A number of students haven't come today. And plural verb. The number is unusually high. Singular verb. So do remember the phrase the number, a number. Both the number is important. A major complaint from the opposition. Now there is a complaint from the opposition. What is that? Concerns means related to the alleged politicization. Again, so many times the editorial uses the word allegation. Allege is the verb form, allegation noun form. The alleged politicization of investigations and the personnel heading the agency. So alleged politicization, they're trying to make it it has taken a political dimension. That is the allegation. And the personnel heading the agency. Investigations one thing, and the personnel, employees who work for a particular organization heading the agency. Some parties fear that the money laundering law is being used, that is in present continuous passive voice. We are using something, something is being used by us. That you have to recollect an important pattern. Is being used for a political witch hunt. Now, some apprehension, some fear. What is that? Some parties fear that the money laundering law, this particular law, is being used, present continuous passive voice, for a political witch hunt. Witch hunt means an attempt to find and punish people whose opinions are unpopular. In this context, against the current regime. And they try to go in for witch hunt. The list of offences that may attract a money laundering probe over and above the police investigation into them is quite long. So what is the subject here? The list. The list of offences that may attract a money laundering probe over and above the police investigation into them is quite long. And corruption allegations being quite common against politicians holding public office. Again, very unfortunate. Corruption allegations being quite common against whom? Against politicians holding public office. Each time, whenever there is allegation, what happens? Each time a scam or a scandal is uncovered. Scam means an illegal plan for making money, especially one that involves tricking people. You try to cheat people for the sake of money. Then we use the term scam. Each time a scam or scandal is uncovered, the Enforcement Directorate follows closely on the heels of the agency conducting the anti-corruption probe. Whenever there is a scam, immediately what happens? The agency, a particular agency, conducts the anti-corruption probe. But this sentence says the Enforcement Directorate follows closely on the heels. It follows the agency conducting the anti-corruption probe. Why do they do that, or why does it do that? To register a separate case under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. They try to bring it under Money Laundering Act. How does the editorial? I think we have one more. Huh. While there is no problem with a stringent law, strict laws are good, nothing wrong on the subject. Its executors have to be cautious. Those who try to implement the law have to be cautious, careful about the excessive zeal. They should not cross the limits and they should not resort to expansive probes, means vast, extensive, covering a large area, without identifying specific payoffs or following a money trail. They need to have evidence and they have to have specific, they have to know or identify specific payoffs. Only then they have to follow. Just like that, they should not. The current director, one more dimension, the negative aspect, the current director of enforcement was appointed for a 2 year term in 2018. But that means what? His tenure has to end in 2020. 2018, 2 years, 2020. But continues to this day. Today also is in power. Why? Thanks to extensions. This is a standard expression. Thanks to extensions and a change in the law governing such extensions. They must have modified the law. The government has now assured, present perfect tense, the Supreme Court that he will not continue beyond November 23rd. So, some assurance from the current regime. How does the editorial end? The government often says, here the government subject says verb, and often is an adverb of frequency. There are four rules that go with adverbs of frequency. This is the first one. Whenever we try to use an adverb of frequency, it has to be between the subject and the verb. The government often says the agency is only doing its duty and holding lawful investigations. But the perception, that's what the government says. But what is the public perception or perception of others? In this context, opposition parties. But the perception of others is unlikely to be positive. It is not positive, it is negative. In the backdrop, why? In the backdrop, an important expression means in the background of the way it controls the agency's leadership. The current regime controls the agency's leadership. Obviously, it may take a little negative turn, and based on that, the public perception is negative. That's what the sentence says. That's all about the editorial, a lengthy one, and I have taken almost half an hour because of a lot of important words. Let us go to comprehension based questions. What is this editorial about? You should write in a nutshell, in brief. That will help in the long run. What would seem suspect? Keywords. If a law enforcement agency conducted itself in a way that created fear. So many keywords you have to navigate, locate, then you find the answer. Who is running amok? There's one idiomatic expression, amok, running amok, run amok. So wherever you find that idiom in the passage or the editorial, you get the answer over there, easy to answer. All these questions are based on explicit information, direct information. What is a core problem in the context of the editorial? Keywords, core problem. While there is no problem with a stringent law, law has to be stringent, no problem with that. Its executors have to be what? At the same time, its executors have to be something, have to be what? Again, keywords easy to answer. Now let us go to practice questions based on exam topics. The first exam topic, errors or error location. The sentences are lengthy because today if you take bank exams, in the past they would give short sentences. Now they give lengthy sentences. Sometimes each sentence looks like a paragraph. Then you got to read very carefully. You have to know the subject, the verb, the object, the phrases, and the clauses. So read the first one. Secretary General Rajya Sabha made an appeal to me and I agreed to it. I'm so happy to share it with you. He gave me the concept that the Rajya Sabha Secretariat is the best in the country. Three sentences, one question. Remove to where? Naidu, you have to be specific. Two is here, two is here. Which two you want to be removed? But that is not right. Made an appeal to me, nothing wrong. Made me to wait, that is different, that is wrong. Made me wait. But he made an appeal to me, nothing wrong with that. Please remember, never have fixed ideas. The moment you see make, past, made, don't think that, don't recollect the rule. Causative verbs, help, make, get, let. We should not use a preposition to. No, no, it is not like that. Do remember, context is the king. Read the sentence, understand the context. He made me to wait, wrong. But he made me wait is right. Here, he made an appeal to me. This is a different pattern. Nothing wrong with this. Here, there are two actions. First one, someone made an appeal. Second one, I agreed. Based on that, first action, we have to use past perfect. That is the reason why I have brought this. Secretary General Rajya Sabha had made an appeal to me and I agreed to it. First, he made an appeal, that is in past perfect. Then I agreed, it is in past. So this question is about what? Past perfect tense. Two actions in the past. First one, past perfect. Second one, past tense. But generally, I tell students we use words like before, by the time, when, after. Exceptions are always there. Do remember. When it comes to English, never try to generalize. Learn the rules. Remember, rules have exceptions. Always remember, context is very important. Based on the context, you have to decide what is right, what is wrong. Don't go with rules all the time. Rules are important, but context is the ultimate. Contextual awareness is a deciding factor. This collaboration aims to work towards drawing global attention, toward access to assistive technology, fostering research and innovation, fostering and developing and disseminating appropriate training programs. Yes, Ajay, there is a Telegram group. Every day I tell, please be till the fag end of the session. At the fag end of the session, I tell students, after the session, go to the description of the video. There you find the link to the Telegram group. Do that today after the session. There is a group. All that you have to do, you have to go to the description of the video and click on the link to the group. I also provide the link to download the app. I also provide the link to get the PDF of this session every day. Sweta says towards this collaboration aims, present tense, third person singular, s or es to be added, nothing wrong. Obviously, here, when you read a sentence like this, you will catch two words. In the same sentence, you see towards and also toward. Obviously, sheer common sense, you may think one is right, the other one is wrong. And you may also think that is the reason why the sentence has been brought. But do remember, I have brought this. No one has responded, no one has got the correct answer. The answer, no. Answer is no error. Why no error? Toward, towards, both mean the same. That's why I wanted you guys to know that. That's why I have brought this. Towards, toward. Both are grammatically correct. Both are perfect. Both mean the same. Towards is more popular, but you can say towards. You can use either towards or toward. Absolutely no problem. And usually students think towards is correct, toward is wrong. No. I wanted to change that perception. Please listen and remember. Towards, toward, both mean the same. Both are correct. No difference whatsoever. Only difference, towards is more popular than toward. You can use towards or toward. Grammatically perfect. Answer is no error. See, when I bring, all these are my questions. When I bring a question, I know your standards based on my experience and expertise. I know how you think. Same thing they also do when they set the papers. My pleasure, Divya. Please go to question number 3. The flagship program National Ayush Mission has been launched in 2014, and it has played a crucial role in preserving and promoting India's traditional systems of medicine and the integration into the mainstream healthcare system. So, where is the error? This is not that difficult. You should be able to spot the error. Here, Yeri Swami says no error. Please mention the question number. I know you're quite enthusiastic, eager to answer, but sometimes what happens, you have to mention the question number. Otherwise, it becomes a problem. I won't be able to decide for which question you have given the answer. Very good. Anusha is the first one to get it, and she has got it right. Here, there is a time that goes into the past. Whenever you see time, independent time that goes into the past, remember you cannot use present perfect tense. It's a common error. Present perfect plus time in past, independent time in past, wrong combination. Time in past, then you have to use past tense. The flagship program, National Ayush Mission, was launched. It is in past tense passive voice. I have brought it in present perfect passive voice. We cannot use present perfect. Good, Yeri Swami, I got it. So it should be in past because of in 2014. We cannot use present perfect. Was launched. Very good. Govardhan has got it right. Please go to question number 4. The temple dedicated to the Hindu sun god Surya, the Konark temple, was built in the 13th century. See, 13th century past was built and is considered as a masterpiece of Kalinga architecture. It goes with Kalinga architecture. So, where is the error? Question number 4. The temple dedicated to the Hindu sun god Surya was built in the 13th century. Very good. Anusha has got it right. Again, the first one to get it right. Good, highly appreciable. Here there is a verb consider. After consider, we should not use as. Consider, call, name, appoint, all these we should not use as. Considered a masterpiece of Kalinga architecture. This has been given many a time in different competitive exams. Please go to question number 5. Redundancy. That's right. Common error. The RIIG DU conference on blue economy related to ocean. Blue economy will foster, promote, develop knowledge sharing and exchange of best practices between G20 members on several key sub-themes. Enter into order for inform to return back. Very good. When you recollect and write, you will be able to remember. Among perhaps there are two errors. Here, members more than two. I will talk about that. There is no error here. That is not the error. I will give you a few seconds. That is not the error. It's good that you thought between, but that nothing wrong with between. I will answer why. Here, there is an error in the third part. What is wrong with the third part? Exchange of best practices. Best adjective, practices noun. So, noun, this is not the spelling. It should be CES. You have to recollect practice noun and practice verb. CE is a noun, SE is a verb. Here we have to use a noun form, best practices. Now coming to between, you must have listen very carefully. This is something very important. A lot of students don't know this because they have a fixed idea. When I tell this in the regular classes, Many students, they get the shock of their life. Between already have fixed idea what is it. There are two prepositions, between, among. Between goes with two persons or two things, and among more than two. Almost all the students know this. So when you read a sentence like this, when you look at G20 members, obviously G20 members a lot, more than two. So you must have thought based on that, we cannot use between, we have to use among. But listen carefully. We can use between for more than two. I repeat, I reiterate, we can use a preposition between for more than two persons or more than two things, provided they belong to the same group. Here, G20 members, the same group. More than two also you can use between. In regular classes, I give an example. She could not decide between the Harvard University, the Cambridge University, and the Oxford University. I ask the students, is it right or wrong? Almost all the students say wrong because there are three universities, more than two. They say, why is it wrong? We cannot use between, we have to use among. Then I tell them, no, nothing wrong with this sentence. The sentence is right. They get the shock of their life. How come, sir? Because though we have used the word between, though there is a rule, it goes with two persons or two things. When they all belong to the same category, class, or kind, more than two also we can use between. She could not decide between the Harvard University, the Cambridge University, and the Oxford University. Nothing wrong with the sentence. Between G20 members, they all belong to the same category. Nothing wrong. I hope you guys got it. We are running out of time. Today you have to work on Jumble. Then you have Cloze Test and words and meanings, word profile. Try to respond quickly. Jumble not easy, quite challenging. The first step, take elimination approach. Such a shift cannot be the first, cannot be the first, then cannot be the first. Hold this one. Would mean no subject cannot be the first. The changes cannot be the first. So what is the advanced level? Yes, of course. I'm going to start a new course, advanced grammar. If you enroll in that course, I'm going to touch all these dimensions. So please go to the Jumble. What is the first one based on elimination approach? The first one is D. Global plastic pollution could be slashed, means brought down by 80% by 2040, according to a report from the UNEP, United Nations Environment Program. That is the first one. Very good. Almost many students have got the first one. So what is the second one? Second one, a little difficult. Don't be hasty. Try to read carefully. There is a possibility for you to make the mistake. Second sentence. See, I see a few students. No, that is not right. A is not the second one. No, no, no. Almost you all have the same wavelength. No, E cannot be the second one. Who is this? F is the second one. Swapna has got it right. Here, global plastic pollution could be slashed by 80% by 2040, according to a report from the UNEP. The changes needed. How can we do that? We need some changes. Some changes are to be made. The changes needed are major, but are also practical and affordable. The agency said. The agency. What is the agency? A report from the United Nations Environment Program. So there is continuity. We can bring down. For that, what is required? What is needed? The changes needed are major, but are also practical and affordable, the agency said. F is the second one. D, F, there you got to be careful. Then it becomes easy. The first step. A is the third one. Then second, then means after the first one. C is the next one. And all these talk about changes. Such a shift. B is the next one. Such a shift driven by government policies and changes in the plastic industry, incomplete, comma, would mean plastic pollution would drop to about 40 million tons in 2040 rather than 227 million tons if no action is taken. This is something very interesting, useful, thought provoking. So, what is the last one? BE, one group. So, DF, AC, BE. I appreciate all those who have got the correct order. Govardhan, Sanjay, Ajay, very good. Not easy because I'm not giving enough time. Let us go to Cloze Test. This pattern is to develop contextual awareness among you guys. The world is almost certain to experience new record temperatures in the next 5 years, and temperatures are likely. Sometimes students ask me, sir, can we use the word temperature in the plural form? Yes, Tirupati Rao. Second one is very important. If you go off the track there, the whole thing goes wrong. It is not A, it is the other one. F is the second one. There you got to be careful. Temperature is nothing wrong. Temperature is singular, temperature is plural. So are likely to rise. Rise, rose, risen. Irregular verb, intransitive verb. So what is the answer here? The fifth word. By more than 1.5 above pre-industrial levels, scientists have warned. The what? Perhaps it is a bit difficult. Second one. No one has responded. The second one. First one is rise. That is over. Go to the second one. The acceleration of the crucial. No, no, no. It is not acceleration. No. Of the crucial threshold, there is a threshold, there is a limit, and we may break it, we may breach. So, based on that, here, answer is the breaching, used as a noun. Dharani has got it right. Smiling Dharani. The breaching of the crucial 1.5 Celsius threshold limit, breaching, breaking. Breach goes with a concrete structure, law, agreement, contract, all these. There's a contract not to breach 1.5 Celsius threshold. Breaching that, which scientists have warned could have dire consequences. Dire means very bad, something completely negative. Should be only temporary according to research from the World Meteorological Organization. However, it would represent a marked acceleration of impact. Here you have to use the first one. Marked acceleration, speeding up of human impacts on the global climate system and send the world into uncharted territory, new territory. So, has anyone got all the five correct? Then it is wonderful, highly appreciable. Rise, breaching of, dire consequences. Remember the combinations as well. Acceleration of what? Human impacts. And send the world into what? Uncharted territory, new territory, unexplored territory. Let us go to words from yesterday's editorial. Check your memory. After 24 hours, how many you remember? And if you get all the 10 correct, you should be extremely happy. Write the part of speech, write the meaning. Sucker, an important word. Dire means very bad, negative. Dire consequences means completely negative consequences, very bad consequences. Usually it takes the word consequences, dire consequences. It also takes the word situation, dire situation, very bad, unfortunate, unwanted, negative. Sucker, noun. So means what? Help given to someone who is in need of help. Very good. Let us do quickly. It's already 7:54. Plummet, noun. Oh, at least one student has to respond. You are still with the first one. Plummet means what? Hmm. No one has answered the second one. G. To fall very quickly. Very good. Who is this? Mahadev, first one to respond. Slump. Slump goes with prices. So based on that, all prices fall suddenly. Slump, noun, and answer is extremely serious, very bad. That's right. Dharani has answered your doubt. Subdue part of speech verb, it's a regular verb. So what does it mean? To reduce the force of something. J is the answer. You are still with the third one. No, no. Fourth one is J, not third one. Third one is what? Slump or prices fall suddenly. Third one is E. Tirupati has got it right. Hema has got it right. Hemalata. J is not the answer. Third one, Govardhan has got it right. Fourth one is J, subdued, regular verb. To reduce the force of something or to stop something from developing. Bleak future, that means adjective. Bleak, what does it mean? No hope for the future. Answer is B. Turmoil, noun. Political turmoil, trade turmoil means what? State of confusion, chaotic situation. Akin, adjective. Similar to or having some of the same qualities. Answer is F. Yes. Linger, verb, lingering, ing form, and it could be an adjective. Means what? Take a long time to leave, to be there for a long time. I is the answer. Enunciate, enunciation, noun, enunciate, verb. Means what? To speak clearly, to pronounce words clearly. What is the last one? Concede, conceded. It's a regular verb. To admit something, often unwillingly or reluctantly. Initially you refuse, later you accept unwillingly. Concede the defeat. A typical combination. If you have got all the 10, you should be happy. Now let us go to the last slide. Adverse. Adverse adjective. Having a negative or harmful effect on something. Example, they received a lot of adverse publicity. Who is this? Sonu GS Academy. I am from Bihar. Good. Adverse publicity. Remember the combination adverse report, adverse remark, adverse publicity. Obviously, adjective. Adversity, noun. A difficult or unlucky situation or event. The road to happiness is paved with adversities. Plural form. Adversely, adverb. A lot of companies have been adversely affected by the recession. A recession means low economic activity. Whenever there is a recession, many companies, a lot of companies, they get affected adversely. Not only the companies, the employees also. Adverse effects, yes, Tirupati, good. Synonyms, unfavorable, unfortunate, dreadful, that's an important word. Antonyms, favorable, beneficial, positive words. That's all for today. Hope you guys have got enriched. Have a nice day. But do remember to subscribe and share. And after, I would like to reiterate, after the session, go to the description of the video. There you find a few links. One link to join the Telegram group, another link to download the PDF, today's editorial, and the third link to download my app, Murthy's English. And once you download the app, then you get access to the courses, the existing courses and the courses I'm going to launch. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.